name's Tracy Hagenmeyer, and I'm 30 years old, and this was our first pregnancy, and we had a baby girl named Eleanor who was born on December 18th. First of all, I decided on a natural birth because the babies tend to be a lot more alert and the breastfeeding is a lot easier right away, and just in general, I kind of wanted to experience it naturally for the first time. I learned about Dr. Berlin from my sister-in-law, who had come to him both times that she'd been pregnant, and she was overdue, and she'd had success both times in delivering very quickly after her visits. And I was nervous about being overdue because my doctor didn't want to wait more than a week before she would induce me, and so I decided to come see him a couple of weeks before my due date to kind of make sure that I was on track. I prepared for having a natural birth by going to Bradley method classes. That really helped kind of to prepare mentally, and as far as preparing physically, I decided to do acupuncture and chiropractic to get my body ready. I actually was pretty confident in being able to have a natural birth. The thing that made me doubt having a natural, being able to go ahead and do that, was the doctor and wanting to induce if I'd gone overdue. I really didn't want to be induced with Pitocin, and also my hips were really tight and the baby hadn't dropped even a few days before our delivery date was due. So that's why I was coming in, is having my hips worked on so that she would drop. Our labor actually started at about 1 a.m. and it was about 8 days late. And we had early labor, just some contractions, just small ones, for most of the day until about 5 or 6 p.m. and then I could tell I was in active labor. We actually didn't end up going until about midnight. We waited as long as we could at home, and then finally when we got there, I was in labor probably for about 5 hours until the pushing phase. And that was a really hard transition for me to go from the contractions to the pushing. But the pushing lasted about an hour to an hour and a half, and then she was born at 6:33 in the morning. She had problems because she had the meconium waste because she was past due, and so she had to be suctioned, and so they actually had to take her away right after she was delivered. After she was born, I had some complications. Aside from just having to take her away to suction her, I began to hemorrhage, and I guess I had torn internally. So I had to be taken into surgery. So unfortunately, I didn't actually get to see her for about 3 or 4 hours after she was born. But she ended up just fine. She didn't have any problems with her lungs, and my surgery was successful. And then finally I was able to see her in the recovery room. Even though I had a complication, I would still choose natural delivery, because when I actually was reunited with her, she was able to breastfeed right away, and she was very alert. And in general, just going through the whole process and knowing that I could do it was really good, and I would absolutely do it again. In fact, for our second one, I would still do it exactly the same way.